She really is blonde, isn't she? Yes, she doesn't sleep.
I'd like to say welcome to our online worship service. Most of all, Happy New Year! So nice to greet you in 2021. Let's just say that. Whew. This morning, we welcome you to a time shared by members, friends, and visitors as a congregation of people in the spirit of First Parish of Sudbury Unitarian Universalist. We gather to find meaning, to participate in community, and maybe to find some small way to help make our community and our lives just a little bit better. We've chosen to participate remotely as a commitment to one another's health and personal growth. This morning, we gather in love with open hearts and minds, endeavoring to create a time and space where all are welcome to bring their whole self, their respective beliefs, identities, gladness, and sorrows. I ask you to leave nothing about yourself behind. We love and welcome you just as you are. There's a button right below this window, and if you click on it, you can receive the order of worship. So please open the order of worship to follow along. This morning's opening reading is by Margaret Kelp. As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, to be at home. Here on earth, under the morning stars, linked with each other. Now we're going to light our chalice for this morning. So please join along in saying our chalice lighting. Let us light this chalice to symbolize our future, for a brighter future for every person on earth, for a sustaining faith that carries us through even the darkest of times. Now we'll enjoy our... We made a couple of quick changes this morning, so I just want to make sure we're correct. Please join us for our musical interlude. So on the first Sunday of the year, it is our tradition to do endings and beginnings. It is a time for us set aside to remember those who have passed this year, and also to welcome those who have been born into our congregation, into our family of members. So with this, I begin by reading the names. We're going to do something a little different today, and then I will ring a bell between each name to signify the person that I've just called. So we begin. Jay Agarwal, Dusty Reed, Tony Russell, Sylvia Klein, Doug Doxey, Don Bolden, Susan Faulkner Paredes, Eileen Linda Dunn, Robert Vannerson, John Cochin, Karen Gardner, Ann Festa, Gilda Piccolo, Catherine Paradise, Minnie Bloom, Bernie Bloom, Anne Archibald Hammett, Mary Ann Grenier, Arnold Chrisley, John Freitas, Alexandra Milgram, Abigail Thurnstrom. If your names were not on this list and you'd like to call out a name, I will just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Elaine Jones or Mary Ellen.
Adrian Ledoux Boissel.
Doris Balmer.
Elaine.
Melvin Bressler.
Now, if you haven't opened your order of service, this is when you might want to, because we're going to be doing a responsive reading. And if you want to share along, open your mic, and that's fine. You can do that. It's called a common destiny. All living substance, all substance of energy, being, and purpose are united and share the same destiny. All people, those we love and those we know not of, are united and share the same destiny. Birth to death, we share this unity with the sun, earth. Our brothers and sisters, strangers, flowers of the field, snowflakes, volcanoes and moonbeams. Birth, life, death, unknown, known, unknown. Our destiny from unknown to unknown. May we have the faith to accept this mystery and build upon its everlasting truth. So may it be. Blessed be. Amen. Endings are hard, and they are balanced. Thank the great goddess above with new beginnings. So as part of our endings and beginning service, we always share those young and new and amazing lives that come into play in our lives day to day. So today I'd like to read the names of those who have been born. James Jeffrey Keyes. Alexander Skinner. Felix Ivan Maximuk. Pascal Silas Goodwin. Adeline Everly Bloom. Paxton Porter Mancuso. And I think of these young lives, these amazing young lives who have faced adversity at times already, who have been adored and will continue to be adored and loved and cared for as a cohort of sorts. So we'll ring their bells together. If you have had the birth of a young one in your life this year and didn't get your name to me beforehand, please feel free to raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you can share that name. Elaine.
Leah Bodenhammer.
Let me give her a little ring. Let us share in our responsive reading for our little ones. It's called Out of Stars. Out of the stars in their flight, out of the dust of eternity, here have we come. Stardust and sunlight mingling through time and through space. Out of the stars have we come, up from time. Out of stars have we come. Time out of time, before time, in the vastness of space, earth spun to orbit the sun. Earth with the thunder of the mountains newborn, the boiling of seas. Earth warmed by the sun, lit by sunlight. This is our home. Out of the stars have we come. Mystery hidden in mystery, back through all time. Mystery rising from rocks in the storm and sea. Out of the stars rising from rocks in the sea, kindled by sunlight on earth arose life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Ponder with awe. Out of the sea to the land, out of the shallows came ferns. Out of the sea to the land, up from darkness to light, rising to walk and to fly. Out of the sea trembled life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Life up from the sea, eyes to behold, throats to sing, mates to love. Life from the sea, warmed by sun, washed by rain, life from within, giving birth, rose to love. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Life upon the earth rose to love. This is the marvel of life, rising to see and to know. Out of your heart, cry wonder, sing that we live. Please join us in this morning's hymn. The words are actually in your order of worship. Number 409, Sleep, My Child. Endings and beginnings. We honor those who have passed this year, leaving us with a sense of loss and a hole in our hearts where those who have died still reside. We do not let go of our precious ones. There is a consistent tug from that unique place that only they can fill. Time, they say, heals all. And in many ways, it does dull that initial excruciating ache. But there is still a missing that never really goes away. The memories remain and popping up every once in a while to surprise us, bringing our loved ones close from beyond the veil. Today and every day, we honor all of our losses, regardless of whether the sting is recent or is a persistent ache from long ago. My friends, we are grieving. And this morning, it is important for us to acknowledge our grief, to pull it out, to open it up, and to love it. It is tempting to move away from the hard places in our lives, to keep busy, to move on. And some days we do just that. We move on. Grief is hard, especially when all around us in this world, people are grieving. So many people have died and are still dying. It's hard to even fathom the immensity of loss that is taking place around this world. Death of loved ones, colleagues, friends, loss of those whom we only knew a little, and those whom we did not know at all. People struggling to recover, to survive alone in hospitals, to die without family. Let us take a moment to send our love and compassion to those who have suffered, those who have passed. These are dark times. And yet, even in these days, weeks and months, there is a glimmer of hope. There has to be, as so many are striving to turn the tide, as people stay home and stay separate from friends and family, to shift the tide. As we respond to the plea from frontline workers who risk their own lives to save those who are sick, to shift the tide. Scientists research and study, doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists do all that they can, pushing further beyond exhaustion, staying the course. People caretake our loved ones. They grow, pick, and catch our food, process staples, run the registers, pick, bag, deliver what we need, keeping us safe. And all of this human commitment, the glimmer of hope, lingers. In dark times, let us be the bearers of hope. As here and there, all around this world, babies are born, bringing hope with them, new beginnings. It is hard to imagine that we have been living through such difficult times, that this is the time to realize just how blessed we are. To realize that over the last year, we have faced into fear, frustration, and anger. We have worked to change the tide of greed and inconsideration, moving ever towards generosity, compassion, equality. We are moving ever forward. I promise you this. And we have learned so much through the experiences of our time. And for this, let us be grateful. Today, as we celebrate our endings and new beginnings, I ask us to put aside the work. I know that's unusual for me, but I think instead, how about it's best for us to recharge, to ground ourselves, and to create a place of peace for ourselves and for others. We truly do need a place of peace. Take the time to set aside our phones, dare I say it, to set aside the news, to look away from social media and to breathe into the peace of silence, the place of pause. I set this table for our discussion this morning with the help of UU minister and poet Robert Weston, who shares, there might have been other uses for this moment. There may have been other pleasures. There might have been rest. But there is something beyond all this which I must seek, and except I give it time and attention, it may never flower. It is a yearning for meaning for which the tongue has yet no words. It is a quest for holiness. It is a quest for self-forgiveness, for all the things wherein I have failed myself in failing others. The light I have ignored, the plea of the Spirit rejected, the meaning still to be found, peace in a world of conflict, and still something more. It is something only sensed in moments of quiet, solitude, or in the shared meditation of others who seek with me. Perhaps it is myself, now so buried under the demands and pressures of the world, that it may only be found as I take time to listen for it and to let it grow. take the time to listen and to let it grow. On Christmas Eve, I spoke about wishing on a Christmas star and offering the ideal of tolerance as a place to begin. Tolerance for being locked in. Tolerance for being separate. For others who do not look or think like we do or are motivated by hate and discontent, we seek tolerance. I shared my hopes for unity with you. It will take tolerance to find our way towards a place of communion with our fellow inhabitants on spaceship Earth. Last Sunday, I offered how we might endeavor to reframe 2020 in order to move forward into a place of harmony and peace in 2021. And here we are in 2021. The days, they march on. My dearest friends, we have arrived at the beginning of a new year, and we're hopeful for positive change. Thus, I invite us to set our sights on the horizon, reaching beyond what has been, and instead move ourselves faithfully forward, pushing through the inertia of these times into the next decade of this new millennium, 2021. It is an amazing time to behold, a time that will and has changed us from who we once were. Moving forward, I'd like to remind us that it is often said that what we dream or think, we manifest. As we shake off the past, the illness, and the crooked ways, which I think of as those ways that do not feel quite right, what is it that we truly want to manifest in our lives? Or the ways that feel more in line with who we are? This morning we begin at a place where one door closes while another door opens. But let's insert a twist. You know I love to do that. Let's think about it this way. When a door closes, a miraculous window flies open. We have the opportunity to look out and to see the future filled with new possibilities. It is then that we choose which door that we will open. I always go for the one that resonates with me. I invite you to do the same. Our window might be overlooking the forest, the mountains, the river, or the sea. Any place filled with the potential that we seek, and that might bring us to a place of peace. As we all know, it is up to us to choose, to create that place of our future dreams. This morning, I urge us to let it be peace, to be a place of peace that we choose to create. Peace of heart, peace of mind, peace of spirit. The first step to creating or finding a place of peace is to let the stress, the anxiety, concern, frustration, anger, whatever ails you, go. Let it go. Holding on is not doing you any good. I really realize that this may take some intellectual or emotional gymnastics. It's not always easy to just poof, let it go. But it can begin with giving yourself some space from what I mentioned earlier, the news and Facebook or any other social media that might rev up your anxiety or your stress. One must create a space for what may come. Creating space for the good stuff to be introduced can offer you what you need to shift the tide away from what we have been inundated with over 2020. And I want to say there's been some good things in 2020 as well. Let's just think of those babies, for instance. Those babies that bring a smile to our face. Good things, good beings. Amazing. There have been some hard times. But we'll move on. We'll heal. Cephas Tope, author of The Roadmap to Your Extraordinary Life, explains that to be able to manage our challenges better, it helps to understand the characteristics of flow. You may remember last week we talked about seeing flow as a higher power that is available to us. Remember this phrase, go with the flow? Flow is probably something that you have experienced before. when you've been totally absorbed and lost in something, so concentrated on it, the time flew by. It's that state that allows creativity and productivity to flow, supports us in achieving that peace and calm that we all need to experience in order to move beyond the challenges of the day, the week, or the year. Flow is also the quickest route to experience that inner contentment that flow offers, so we can stop feeling beaten down by the day's difficulties. Taupe offers some steps, and I like my steps, so I'm going to share it with you. First, concentration, being single-minded and focused in the moment, it allows us to connect with the flow. Clarity, knowing or envisioning the outcome, projecting what we want to manifest, is the second. Believing is the third. In the effortless and ease in accomplishing your goal. I don't know about you, but when I'm trying to make a goal or do a goal, getting started is almost the hardest part of it. It seems bigger than what it should be. But once you get through it, that initial moving forward, it actually doesn't seem as hard as we think. Once we're engaged in whatever we want to manifest, the work seems easier than we thought it might be. Fourth, outer world of actions and inner world of belief are merged. Think about that. Instead of being distracted, we can bring ourselves back to the moment. Always come back to the moment where actions and our inner world are connected. 5, a feeling that you're in control of this moment. I mean, this moment is probably all we can really control, right? And then we're leaning lightly on it. But you're in control of the task at hand. It's not that you can control what's going out in the world, but you can control what you're doing at that moment. This is a time to clear your mind of doubt and just be present to the work that's right in front of you. Whatever that might be, or the play, or the place of peace. Be in that moment. Taupe encourages us that it is time to take a stand against the idea of avoiding the hard things in life, or running away from them, or allowing our mind to lead us willy-nilly down the path to misery. Regular people like you and me often find ourselves face to face with difficult circumstances, but managing them and finding ways to remain calm and peaceful while in the midst of them builds up our strength and our courage. Makes all the difference between just getting through life and thriving in the midst of it all. So the next time you're facing difficulties or challenges, practice getting into the flow as a way to respond more calmly. Throw it up to the higher power of flow that will help us keep us grounded. This practice means that while you won't be able to control everything that happens in life, you are honing your ability to respond as opposed to react. And that is one of our greatest powers. Respond as opposed to react. I mean, if I asked you all to raise your hands for those who react versus respond sometimes, I think all of us might raise it up. It's not easy to thoughtfully respond as opposed to react. But that's the lesson right there, especially when we want to create a place of peace for ourselves, for those who are also with us and growing into this evolving, ever-changing world. I believe that's the lesson for 2021. Respond versus react. We have had the opportunity to learn from those who came before us, who shared their wisdom and at times their missteps, remembering that there is knowledge worth sharing contained in it all. My friends, let us be the guides for those who come after us, teaching the precious lesson of responding as opposed to reacting, sharing our wisdom, our patience, our stories of mistake made, and how suffering can change us if we are truly mindful for the better. We are the exemplars for those yet to come. We are the caretakers. We are the storytellers. We have every possibility at our fingertips. And I encourage us as we step into 2021 that we take each moment, regardless of what we might face, to create a place of peace. Is it possible? I remember sitting at the table with my mother and my aunt as they told me the stories of their lives. Those stories framed me. They gave me hope, and they scared the heck out of me when they shared their mistakes. But it helped me learn. And I'm sure that many of you have sat with your people and have heard similar stories. My friends, I bless you with abundance, tolerance, and compassion for this year, for all the years to come. Let us take a moment in silent reflection to embrace what has been, to open our hearts and minds to what may come. Happy New Year's, dear ones. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. My friends, we thank you for your generosity each and every week. Your time and treasure supports the good work of First Parish, keeps the staff fed and the hearts and lights on. You can share your generosity with us by sending a check to First Parish, texting your offering, or designating your offering online. You'll notice that you can find direction on how to participate in online giving in this morning's order of worship. Thank you.
A flower remembered can never wither, forever blooming as bright as day. Its fragrance lingering like music softly playing, a gentle voice that's saying, I'll never fade away. I hear the echoes of many voices, sometimes they're distant, sometimes so clear. Through all the sounds of life they seem to whisper, will you remember? Will you remember? Will you remember? The birds fly homeward across my valley towards the mountains, all white with snow. The birds are gone now, the mountain snows have melted, but still I see their beauty, these scenes of long ago. The birds still fly in northern valleys, the snows have turned to flowing streams. All things must pass, but memories are lasting. We will remember. We will remember. We will remember. We will remember. We will
Thank you so much for your continued support. Let us join in saying our unison extinguishing of the chalice located in your order of worship. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Good and loving people, our time in worship has come to an end. So I bid you to go in peace. Speak your truth in love. Give thanks each and every day. Give thanks for our history. Thanks for who warmed these pews for hundreds of years. And thanks for those who will come and be as impassioned as we are. Let us live each day as if it were our last and our first, with curiosity, deep wonder, and an open heart and mind. Above all else, be not afraid of the mysteries of life. Instead, let faith in the small voice within be our guide. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. After the postlude, we will stay here for our coffee hour, and we will share our milestones and announcements as a time set aside for our fellowship.
Hallo allemaal, ik ben Pierre Bijzer en ik speel hoorn in het Rotterdams Philharmonisch Orkest.
Mijn naam is Maria Dinjan.
Jan Jansen.
Anja van der Maat.
Juliano Sommerhalder.
Kalaet Samson.
Annelien Stukker.
Simon Wierega en ik speel trompet.
Wendy Lelyveld.
Arjen Leenert.
Pierre Volgers.
Ik ben Rosalinde en ik speel altviool.
Laurens Otto.
Josephine Lek.
Ik ben Hendrik Johannes.
Wilco Bijnema.
Pieter Neutelen.
Ik ben Saskia.
En ik ben Wim.
Wij spelen in het Rotterdams Philharmonisch Orkest.
We moeten ons aanpassen aan een nieuwe werkelijkheid.
En oplossingen vinden
Om elkaar te steunen.
Creatieve krachten helpen ons hierbij.
En laten we out of the box denken.
En innovatie gebruiken.
Om het samen te doen.
En ons verbonden met elkaar te blijven voelen. Als we het samen doen, gaat het ons lukken.